Hi everybody, I'm keen to show you my Walter T. Foster books. They were the rage when I was a kid. They still got a website online, but it's not waltertfoster.com, I know that much. And this was my first book. I have a few other books that were my firsts further down when I put them into categories, but they're just fantastic books. And this was my first one back in the 60s. How to draw horses. And this is what started me off drawing horses. And this was the very page that helped me with the straight line, down, down, and then across and down, and then the ears, and then just you flesh it out later. And they're just so beautiful. Received from my sister in 1964. How about that? One of my sisters, I've got 5. So these are just magnificent books. They are so beautiful. And this page here on the front is just so precious to me. I would look at this as a kid because in 1964 I was 13 and I would look at this and daydream and daydream. I always asked my dad for a horse. He never gave me a pony. Oh well. And then I wanted to be a Jillaroo and that didn't happen. And all the way horses walk, trot, canter and gallop. Just beautifully drawn. And this really set me off on the whole drawing horses thing. And so now when I see something that isn't quite the same sort of way it's drawn, you can usually just tell when things are off a bit when people draw horses. Although I am not an expert at it. So this is another one that I got, The Horse in Art. Some of these I found in op shops. I never bought them at full price. That's lovely too, the way they draw it. Everyone has, every artist has a different way of drawing them. A different method of actually starting off the drawing, I mean. Look at them. Isn't that beautiful? Anatomy, skeleton. This is the one my sister bought for me for my birthday. It's horses painted by Ellen Pendleton. And I found her online. Her website is still exactly the same as it was 15 years ago. And the lady put a couple of cards in and it's signed, "To Hilly, all the best in your painting, 2007. Ellen." How is that? Look at that. All these wonderful paintings. And she's very, very good, actually. But it's almost like she's sort of left her website to just go downhill a bit so that it's really old and nothing is happening on there. So, and she's not on Instagram that I can find, so I might have another look. Beautiful book. This gentleman here, Merlin Inabnit. I always think that could have been Tinbane and he's swapped it around. These books were a revelation to me, and I really should just pop some paintings in that I did by this method, using his method. The Colour Surprise. He's very much an abstract painter, but his paintings just stand out to you. The Razzle Dazzle, that's right. So that's the one I tried. He uses the mother colour, the main colour, and then he uses the complementary, and then he puts the Colour Surprise in. Painting for Pleasure, this is another one of his books. And he mentions in this book, refer to colour with palette knife and brush. So luckily I had that book, and then later on I found this one in the op shop. So I was really happy to see this one, because it's like a second book to that one. All sounds double Dutch, I'm sure. These are 1, 2, 3, 4 books. 5 books I received as a gift from the American artist William F. Powell, who is a landscape artist. And he signed them for me as well. I got these free as a gift. I won't go into the story of how that all happened, but it was really amazing because he's got the most fabulous cloud paintings on the internet. And he has stopped doing classes, I think, so he's probably in his 70s now, mid-70s, I've got a feeling. But look at these paintings, amazing. And it was so fabulous to receive these in the mail, all these books of his, for free, as a gift. Fantastic. He really is quite an amazing artist. All the colours and everything. Goodness me. Really best wishes, William F. Powell. There he is there. These Walter T. Foster books are fabulous. They were such a wonderful thing to find as a child too in shops and be given as gifts and presents, because they are teaching books but so beautifully illustrated, and just the big size. Kids just go crazy over them. Well, I did. Surfaces and textures, still life. Drawing by William F. Powell. There he is there. How lovely. We emailed a bit backwards and forwards as well. I think that looks like an uncle of mine. Just kidding! Mixing colours. This looks like another Inabnet book. Especially with these paintings here. I don't know. Wow, look at these. Everything's set out so colourfully and with so many examples and lines to show you what to do where. Incredible. Oil painting. I also bought some other ones just for a couple of dollars, and I'm actually using them for an art journal as backgrounds, because I wasn't terribly keen on the drawings, but they were so cheap that I thought they'd make great backgrounds for those art journals of mine that I want to do, all about my art and painting. This might be number 1 and that might be number 2. Well, it is 2. They're a feast for the eyes, these books. I'm so lucky to have my collection. Now, I recognise that name. Now, these are all about landscapes and seascapes. Look at the way they mix those colours. Beautiful. All published by Walter T. Foster. Look at these fabulous trees. I love black and white stuff. I think because I grew up with black and white drawings in books and things. Sea Power. And sometimes you don't even know who's the painting. You think, is it Walter Foster, or is it someone that he has asked to do stuff in the book? This is set out a little bit differently, but really nicely too. Reflections on how to paint them, headlands, rocks and cliffs, how to paint floating foam, painting the high breakers, water and weather by Charles Cochrane. And look at this, oh my goodness, So what is that? They've actually put all these colours together and then blended them. How to paint mountain. A mountain. Wow. See, this sort of thing would be simple for anyone to really try out. Just showing the basics, and look at this lovely little drawing in the way he explains how to do it. Who hasn't looked out of their window at night and watched snow swirl around a lamppost? I have. The entire canvas was covered with a mixture of crimson, ultramarine blue and a touch of green. Wouldn't believe it, green was used, but yes. Look at these lovely paints. I could go on. And here we go, portraits. How Francis O'Farrell paints portraits. Noses, mouths, children. Really different style, isn't it, from what's done today? But it's just lovely seeing the old-fashioned ways of doing things. Look at that. Just lovely to see the old way. Just a world that's gone almost. Look at this. Beautiful. Colour portraits. Merlin and Adnet. Here he is again, the man with the mother colour and putting in the complementaries. Look at this. Imagine taking photographs of all this and putting it together manually. It's not like a digital. I remember doing typesetting and everything at work when I was in my 20s and 30s. And it was a job and a half to set out a page like this with all the text on the typesetter. But I absolutely loved it. Love anything to do with office works and secretarial work in those days. Faces. Oh, look at that. So lovely. Sculpture. I always wanted to do this sort of thing, sculpture. It's fantastic. And they put their fingers in, and for the eyes, just put the fingers in and push it in, and then they do the details later. So good. Amazing. And the hands. Fantastic. Sketches abroad. This is one of my ones from the 60s as well. Now these are in black, and some of these are in black and white, so it's hard to get the colour, but look at these lovely drawings here. Brings back memories. Beautiful. How to draw. This is one of my own books, isn't it lovely? Way back from 1960s as well. I looked at this so many times, and I just love the writing because I'm really keen on all this cursive writing that I learned at school in the 60s. Use of brush and ink and how to draw this, and I think there's even a horse in here. Birds. And that's the same horse that's in How to Draw Horses. How to Draw Horses book. Beautiful. Perspective drawing. I found this in the op shop this year. Look at that. All these wonderful old-fashioned drawings. And it tells you all about perspective. Perspective is not an easy thing to grasp. I find that myself, I find it's much easier to just draw what I see rather than working out all these lines to the perspective thing. Just does my head in. What a great book though, just to have. So this is my book on designs. This is my old book as well. Look at this. Oh, just makes your mouth water. Look at these wonderful drawings. All manually done, traditionally done. No bits of digital stuff at all. Oh, what's this? Use bright colours. They left the H off. B-R-I-G-T. And no apostrophe, little girl's room. What is going on? So they still made mistakes back then. Oh, look at this. Isn't this fabulous? Look at that. ABC Lettering by Carl Holmes. This is one I got in the 60s as well. I just loved looking at these books. Look at all the lettering. Isn't it fabulous? So, so good. There you go, my fabulous pile of Walter T. Foster books. Hope you enjoyed that. I did, just going through them all again. Thanks for watching. Bye.